Welcome to our lovely future humans. There are 5D collective, the conscious leaders, those who are, as any conscious leader is, loving, compassionate, kind. Integration. Integration made visible. So, the somatic mindset micro habits, the IHP community building practice, everything that is personal growth and community here at IHP involves those who are at the third level of compassion, and so spiritual ones ascend, personal growth ones mature, and that is why the human potential, it does expand when our emotional activation is no longer destabilizing our identity. What's your name? My name's Maria. I'm a 3-year-old too. Did you know that there's this false belief test that they did with kids? I forget the number of the sample of the study, but basically it's how, where is the explanation of this passing belief? The curse of knowledge. So younger children fail because they suffer from the curse of knowledge. I'm going to say there's a bunch of grown-up people who are 3-year-olds who have this curse. 4-year-olds, they tend to pass the test. And that's because the 4-year-old is still flexible to learn things now that they know that they don't know everything. So what's fun is that those of us who expand ourselves don't forget about me. We don't forget about a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, or that our effective realism is not going to rule us. And so here's why, with IHP, emotional depth, presence, clear mindset skills, the consistent expansion of you through your embodied awareness, and the conscious leadership skills of compassion, forgiveness, unconditional love. We all have flaws and imperfections. We will flow thanks to our natural baseline, the somatic resource. You self-regulate autonomously, and I am committed, after all, to inspiring human potential. As an intelligent, sentient being, we talked about that yesterday, I have passed my own tests. So you do turn the other cheek. I said yes to Jesus, God, Holy Spirit. Then you do forgive, because Stephen Porges confirms biologically rude people don't know what they're doing, and as I have already shared, we don't hold people's trauma against them. You don't make anybody get out of maladaptive patterns of behavior. So if they want to continue pretending that they are powwowing each other into personal growth, we know that what they really could be doing is going to the mindful good therapist who would help them then become people who can put into practice the somatic mindset microhabit practices, and to build inspiring human potential communities for real, which involves knowing how to handle even those of our community who serve, unfortunately, not much, because there's 2 groups of people, but we're not going to talk about the other group because 3D 4D has all of that taken care of. Okay, so self-led capacity is a conscious leader who knows why to forgive those who are disconnected from themselves, and not to cast a stone, because that's not good manners. I was casting them when I was a teenager. I said, I'm sorry, God. And that's where today, when I get told I'm rejected, rejection is not protection. Actively rejection means we are different, and that the closed-minded 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, those who do not enjoy intelligence or knowledge, and those who do not enjoy union, family, and basically understanding how the human herd is all built the same. So when someone doesn't own their mind, because they don't own their brain, because they don't own that which is the faculty of being an intelligent, sentient being, they will have at best intellect, and ego goes nowhere, because ego by itself, basically with the left brain, it's, ostriches with their head in the sand. So false belief. They proved, this is a physicist recently, the hard scientists, guys and gals and theys, proved that it's impossible to be living in a simulated reality. I was like, thank goodness, now more physicists can get back on board, but I wonder who, because we have flat earthers who I'm pretty sure went out of their way to disprove Neil deGrasse. So with that, I'm spiritual, because spiritual ones know of God's amazing journey. We're Akash, or source. Basically, we're a piece of energy, and that's why it's love for all. So when you are pushed to the edge of criticality with your flow state, embodied brain, the bright sides of neuroplasticity, have you know what a clear mirror is. And you don't look to be validated in your mannerisms. You look to self-regulate as you take accountability. You don't do, I love Frank Anderson, he just said othering. We don't other things. It's best if we don't other things. He has a whole other speech because he's talking to people who are othering. I have a speech that is, humans are not broken, we're made perfect. Achieving perfection means healthy perfection, which means how do you motivate yourself? I'm motivated by two things. No, we're all motivated by three, with temperament and percent patterns being clear, but I'm motivated, number one, physical safety, which means you say no to, I was a 4-year-old and I said, nope, I'm not riding on the cars with you all. Nope, I want to read to you. I want to learn. And that's, nope, they didn't want to learn. They sent me home crying. That was my first rejection. And my mom said, it's okay, you're just serious. And today I'm 46. And apparently I'm still considered serious. And I'm like, I'm learning things. So epistemically curious people, welcome aboard. When you are a not terrible 2, it's because you can't spank me in my body. That's Maria as a differentiated self already at the age of 3 or something like that. And she spanked me, my mother, and then I went to make my suitcase, because that's called self-agency. And so physical safety, the perfect environment, and that's certainty, and then self-agency. So Maria, that was to the biological father of mine, just so we're clear on what abundance energy mode is. It's called nervous system regulation skills, and that's who's going to use the pay hip somatic mindset micro habit practices, the free, the paid, all of it. And then please check out IHP, the main website for my lovely life partners. Addition to our personal growth, we now bring it into the community. And so spiritual ones know of the 3 levels of compassion. Although the Dalai Lama has mentioned 2, we've moved on to 3. We are moving into the 7th dimension after all. So the core distinction, again, is conscious leaders lead for real and we create leaders. The followers, they like to tell us that they know everything, and that makes me think of this false belief test that they gave to these 3 and 4-year-olds, and then I remind myself everyone lives out their 0-8 non-metabolized trauma time if they don't move into becoming conscious of themselves and self-regulating. But that's not meaning that they're, what's the word? Stupid. We're all stupid in some things, okay? So some people like to create these hilarious, on YouTube, I saw someone trying to say, here is how to spot stupid. And I'm like, that's going to feed your ego a little bit of arrogance, which not appropriate. Also makes you stupid to be arrogant. So how about we allow ourselves to remember, don't hold trauma against people. We all have child parts inside of us. Then that means, like, you will perceive when your 0-1-year-old wants a hug, when your 3-year-old wants a hug, you'll be like, yeah, don't make fun of my 3-year-old. I'm standing up for her right now. What do you want? And actually, as Patrick Tian points out, good childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing therapist, as you are one with your inner child, it is something about you walking in a very specific way. No, I don't remember. He had a quote out there today, but I wanted to read a couple more things before we go. So when you look at comfort, it comes from our defense mechanisms as children. Okay, so when you can stand up for yourself, that's called self-agency. And Keenat's torch of knowledge, illumination, quest for truth, intuition, things are opening up, realizing your full potential. If you don't notice your emotion activation, you can't realize your full potential, because you're going to distort things based on effective realism, which I was broken free from by the age of 8 because I was disowned by my twin. You can't disown people. It's fake. So rejection hits everybody the same way. It's a stab in the heart because the brain lights up in a very specific area, which is where when you get stabbed in the heart, like a knife. And if you learn about anthropologists telling you why shame exists, is because when you got kicked out of the herd way back when from the caves, you'd be eaten by the lion. Now, people who say that makes no sense don't like to understand where we come from. I might fuck up the timelines and the words, but I know where we came from. And so as I understood, the survival defensive mode, for those who want to stay in it, is very uninteresting to those of us who instead like our ventral vagal state. Okay, so as you notice your emotion activated state and you decide to deepen it, that's why micro habits are important for you, because every day you're doing it. So I've been doing differentiation and linking since I was a kid. So we embody that actual me that Dr. Danny Siegel talks about, which if you don't know it, I won't explain it all, but let me give you the gist of it. Because it's called relational sovereignty. I'm going to use that word. You have self-sovereignty, you have relational sovereignty, because you have a relational self. You also have an inner self. Wait for it. There's a solo self, an inner self. Solo self is me. Inner self would be the thoughts, the physical sensations, stuff like that. There's a lot of explanation you can find. Relational self, that's the we. So that begins identity as it is constructed through connections with others. It begins with your first 5 alloparenting. I got my mom, biological father, my twin, then my baby sister, and my dad. And those are the first 5, and then grandparents and aunts and uncles. But we will all have, you can also have attachment security with like a stuffed animal or a blankie, I think, if I remember correctly. So, you know your story, I know mine, but the point is that this is the we. So I maintained, okay, so again, when you have emotional activation and discernment, it's easy, right? Okay, cool. So we are very on the same page here. Gift, exchange, harmony, and relationships. Okay, so all members of society are people. When you learned, if you're spiritual, how to forgive, have compassion, this is why it's easy. When you also understand the whole enemy thing, there's no enemies. Now let's talk about those lower frequencies that the 4D keep on making it sound like they're gonna potentially win or something like that. We came from caves. Today we're not in caves anymore, even though some people want to stay in caves. We have knowledge, which has empowered every one of us to know about our 3 and 4-year-old. Now that we understand why when we get irritated, we're still the same 3-4-year-old, we don't have to be our irritable buttholes, right? So with that, the abundance energy mode takes the action of the real no of a ventral vagal state. So you have fun being a conscious leader. You also understand you don't make people go heal their trauma, and you don't hold people's trauma against them. So if someone around me is emotionally mature, I discern and know that, and they're going to have my back, and they're going to have the entire community's back, and they're going to inspire human potential like we're doing. And that's because they're going to grow themselves because they know what motivates them. Certainty, belonging, agency. And everyone's motivated differently. So they're not going to say, you have to be like my temperament and my personality patterns, because that would make it a meshing or codependency, or basically the emotionally immature group. And those are people who are boring because they don't know how to lead. They just know how to follow each other, validate the charges, and they say, I want to, well, it is right, that feels right. And you think, you're all feels, dude. I'm feels too. It's cool. We're all scared children after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put your blame on me. So with this, excuse me, one more moment, because I want to grab this lovely other ruin Ansuits, God, communication, inner voice, communication with spirit, advice, ancestors. So for those who do not believe in God or spirit or source or Akash or any of our woo-woo pseudoscience people, the spiritual ones, not pseudo-intellectual, please. Those people are like, I know everything. They don't even bother with the no, you don't know everything. So how about you give me what you do know, and remember you don't know everything. 4-year-old who thinks you know everything. It's the false belief. What do you know it all? The curse of knowledge. Oh my God, I'm so cursed. I know so much more than everybody else. Wow, that's when you go. So when you don't believe in God, source, Akash, anything, you could consider the voice of your left and right your higher self, when it's kind, compassionate, and objectively discerning. So intelligent, sentient beings, they're ready for putting into practice that which we do on PayHip and then in our IHP community building, and that's in your day-to-day, which is why you're a person who's motivated by all you need is love and healthy fear. All you need is love and healthy fear, and we're grounded in reality. So thank you so much for stopping by, as I did want to mention how I'm committed to inspiring human potential through exploring your emotional maturity, your mental mastery, which is amazing. When you own the mind, it's not, oh, you're a bad mind. It's, wow, mind, look what we're learning. It has a felt sense of being the mind. So it's because you own the brain, meaning your nervous system. And so you inner grow yourself, and you outer notice what can happen when you're under pressure, which is not necessary. We don't put grief on a pedestal. We don't put assholes on a pedestal. Nobody gets a pedestal. In fact, actually, there's only one it. And it doesn't care about gender or whatnot, but you better bet the spiritual bypassers who continue to tell you what's the truth and what's the not truth. You're like, okay, I see you don't know what scientists are here for. They do the hard work because they have to prove it. We are actually spiritual because mystics believe in the invisible. And there you go. And we're like, yeah, you keep talking. Reject me. Do all you think. Do your thing. Call. Yeah, you know what? I don't have any monsters in my head. Peace out. Actually, if you need to know where the little dark ones, they're in a corner. Poof, go away. You don't stand a chance with that, which is God. I mean, seriously, you're just for people who don't want to get out of their... Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. So when people get off of your panic attacks, it's not fun to be around it, but you're not going to dehumanize, and you're not going to say they're an energy vampire or dark aura that you need to cut cords. You're going to understand that that is something a person will be aware of and could do something about. So as you have nervous system fluency, you'll have relational sovereignty because you'll own your relational self, which is where your identity doesn't get confused and enmeshed with others. So you pick up on each other's nervous systems, you differentiate, and we link, and that's called co-regulation. And so as our conscious presence supports human evolution and expanded consciousness, please remember, it does involve the mind with knowledge, and it does involve the heart with feelings, and then it does involve that we all have different places we come from and we go. But one thing we always will do as a collective who's intelligent and sentient is come together. And we don't enmesh. We respect and we welcome each other's differences, and because we're curious, epistemically curious, those are the people who carry on the traditions, the stories, the knowledge in the effective, appropriate way. In fact, we have a more comfortable relationship with time. No longer split thinking, black and white. It's you know everything, you don't know everything. We're finally grown up enough to be a species that is okay with knowing we don't know everything. And sometimes we're afraid because our human secondary consciousness doesn't like the unknown. Well, that's only for the ones who use half a brain. Well, they always use both, but the cognitive dissonance structure of dissociation. I'm okay with the unknown because I'm like, hey, God, listen, the stars are not falling yet. The scientists are trying to get us off the planet one day. And so I think we'll be okay. No, I know we'll be okay because I come from the future. So check out PayHip, check out the IHP community building practice on the main website, and reach out. On Substack, you can ask questions. Hey, Maria, I want to talk about this, talk about that. And tomorrow or soon, we're going to have some more spiritual messages, because the path to tolerance, new perspectives, life purpose, yes, it is that we can inspire each other, because defending the weak, peacekeeping sincerity means that, you know, our potential rises to the unimaginable, to inspire life, to live life, and to favor human growth. And so you inspire yourself, you inspire others. We can't motivate people, but we can be there to pick them up. And with our self-regulation, autonomous skills, differentiation, and linkage, continue to treat people in the way that we all will want to be treated. We want to be seen, soothed, safe, secure. And so we don't treat children like children. We treat them like grown-ups, even if they're children inside. You see what I'm saying? It's called healthy, self-empowered people. Terry Real does a really great job at explaining it. And so with that being said, again, be yourself the smart way, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. Remember to choose the micro habit of that which is being you authentically, and knowing that trauma blocks that for others. And so we can't really make them take the mask off. Your mindset is intentional, conscious, reflective, ongoing, personal growth and spiritual ascension, honesty with self-compassion and compassion towards others, alignment, belonging, and that's why it's integration that you have, all of you. You don't need to wait to be a whole self. Your wholeness brings the transformational journey of that which is enlightenment, soul age group, and or aka restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating leaders. So check out the guides, the regulated leader, your sovereign blueprint, the accessible guide. You might like those ones. And again, the practices, and join us on Substack. Have a good one.